Okay, my name is Martin Hirt. I'm happy to meet you today. I'm a pharmacist and I was working as a missionary in Congo in the deepest jungle during 6 years. And I have met so many people dying of many diseases. And my special interest was, of course, malaria. And even today, 3,000 people are dying every day worldwide. 3,000 people every day, 3,000 people. And we have found a plant that could save 2,800 of these people. I mean, if everybody would have access to this plant now, 2,800 people every day could survive. And so I invite you cordially to examine what I'm doing, not to believe me in any way, but to say, let us see if it is really true. Let us try ourselves where we are working, if this plant is really a gift of God to help our population in tropical areas to survive. So that is about 20 years ago that I first met this plant, and the special in this plant is that the seeds are extremely small, 12,000 seeds weigh only 1 gram, or one seed weighs 0.07 milligram. Can you imagine? Can you believe that a seed that is nearly invisible could save your life? I think nearly nobody would believe. So I got access to this plant, and we have developed it with some researchers, and we got now a special breed that we call Artemisia Annua anamed. Artemisia is a big family with 500 members, and Artemisia Annua means annual plant. It means it grows only 1 year, and anamed means subspecies anamed. That means a special breed, not genetically manipulated, but just a special breed that has a continuous level of medicinal ingredients. So this is my pen, and now do you see the seeds here? Yeah, nearly invisible. So in this bag there are 5,000 plants, 5,000 seeds. I was happy to meet this plant because now I could survive myself whenever I am in tropical areas. But I said, I'm not here. As we are Christians, we should tell others what we know and help others. And so we have developed a starter kit, a collection of materials, and with this collection of materials, everybody in the whole world where there is malaria, he can now grow a plant like this, hoping it will grow 2 meters high even, and then collect the plant and make his own medicine. So I'm a pharmacist, but you don't need to be a pharmacist. Everybody can make a medicinal tea. Even if you have never went to school, you are able to make a medicinal tea and to help yourself and other people now to survive some tropical diseases. So what is in this starter kit? First thing what I have met is a poster of medicinal plants, because we have 60 medicinal plants, not only one. My dear, we have 40,000 medicinal plants in the whole world that are investigated. But out of this 40,000, we have chosen at least 60, and for several diseases, And this plant, what I want to speak about today, is Artemisia Annua. Here a picture from Congo in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Here, Artemisia Annua is growing mostly in temperate zones, but this special breed now is growing even in tropical zones, is growing high and has a lot of leaves. That is the advantage why we have chosen this subspecies, Artemisia Annua anamed. These 60 medicinal plants, we have given the recipes in this booklet here. So in this booklet now, for each of these 60 medicinal plants, you find recipes how you make some medicines yourself. So, because this book is pretty big, we made a smaller one that is a seminar handbook of 40 pages. So normally we invite people all over the world to stay with us together for 1 week. And then from page 1 to page 40, we speak about 5 most important plants for us. That is garlic, artemisia, neem, pawpaw and moringa. And we speak about 5 most important diseases for us. The first one are wounds, burns, boils and abscesses. The second one are skin problems. Next one diarrhea, next one malaria, and last one AIDS. Because AIDS is such a big problem, we have made a special booklet about AIDS, and we teach people what others have taught us, that Artemisia together with moringa is another plant, and several other plants, we can now sometimes replace the ARV, antiretroviral drugs. I mean, Artemisia as such is developed as an antiretroviral drug. So it has less side effects than tablets, and sometimes it helps as tablets. If you make tea, and that is what we encourage you, when you have this plant, then you make a tea. And this tea should look like this one. I mean, deeply green, well preserved, finely ground, no stems and no water in it. I mean, it is so dry that the ingredients will be in order for 3 years. Therefore, we put this as an example into this package, so that you say, this is what I want to make, and this is what I expect from you. That if you work well with that plant, that you are able to have and produce a medicinal tea according to all international laws, I mean hygienic and without any pollution. As I said, you have to dry this tea very well, and here in this booklet we have I give you for free, it has nothing to do with Artemisia, but we have described how to make a solar oven. And in this solar oven you can now dry your Artemisia. Therefore we have given you this booklet, so that you can choose which method is the best to make your solar oven, or solar dryer, so that even if you live in a region with a lot of rainy season and monsoon, you should be able to dry your medicinal teas so that they can keep 3 years. Now, in this composition of documents, you see a number, and this number says you are number 2435 from all these people who have already an Artemisia field or who have started to collaborate with us. So you are project number 2435, and inside this collection now you find the first thing here is our basis information. In this booklet you find from the seed coming to the plant, coming to the medicine, and then coming to the right dosage. So for which disease I will use and I will need how much Artemisia for children, for pregnant ladies, for breastfeeding ladies, and so on. So you find the dosages, how to use this plant now as a medicine. The second thing in this documentation is this booklet, and it is called From Research to Experience. Maybe you have a professor at your university, maybe you have a doctor, a medical doctor of the hospital who says, oh, I never heard about that. Isn't that witchcraft? No, it is not witchcraft. In contrary, out of this plant there is a lot of medicine made, artemisinin, artesunate, and so on, and they are used now to treat malaria, they are used to treat AIDS, they are used to treat cancer, and they are also patented. This plant is patented by industrial people as medicine for malaria, as medicine for AIDS, as an ARV, and as a medicine for cancer. So, as your doctor will not believe, you give him this documentation, and there he finds all this information. Even if this information may be no longer on the internet, we still have made copies so that your doctor can believe that this is really modern medicine and it is no longer traditional medicine, but is now proven and conventional medicine. So that is to convince your health ministry and health department and hospital. There is a very important blue paper in this document. And why it is so important? You know that industrial people don't like if you are able to treat yourself, your diseases, because if you are saving money, they are losing money. And as very rich people have a lot influence in the WHO, even WHO says sometimes, oh, be careful and don't touch it and don't believe in it and so on. And it is sad, but we have also very good friends in the WHO. And so a very good friend was director, Dr. Gro Harlem Brundtland, see here. And this director himself, or his department, Rollback Malaria department, gave us a prize, and it is called Prize of Excellency. That means a very valuable prize to Anamed Bukavu. I have shown you this picture of Innocent in Bukavu, who was the first one who made this Artemisia field, and he got now this prize of excellency for Anamed Bukavu, for our association in Congo. He got this prize of excellency, and it is said prize of excellency for its remarkable activity in the community and its commendable contribution to the global partnership of rollback malaria. That was given in the year 2002, and even your doctor may not believe, but therefore show him this document and show him the signature here of the General Director of the WHO. So the most highest person of the World Health Organization. This is a very important plant because it got not only the Nobel Prize 2015, but it got also the Prize of Excellency of Dr. Gro Harlem Brundtland in the year 2015. 2. So what else do we have in this collection? We have here a dry box. A dry box. What does it mean? It is a box where we have put some very dry rice, much dried rice, and so the air inside is very dry. So when we put these seeds inside of this dry box, these seeds may keep germinating, may be able to germinate during several years. So even if you have an inundation, even if you have monsoon, even if you have a very strong rainy season, your seeds will keep here like that 3 years. If you keep that in the fridge, maybe even 5 years. If you keep it in the freezer, it keeps even 10 years. So now when you have this dry box, please every year remove only some seeds and the rest you put back. And so if you have a freezer or a fridge, during many years you can grow every year again your Artemisia. What else do we have here? And we have here some jiffy pots. It is called jiffy pots that are commercial pots, and the advantage of these pots is wherever you go, you never know what do you get as a soil, and therefore I've brought you dried soil from Europe, and as a first trial you will sow some seeds on it, and then you will see, aha, it really grows. And then you start to grow it on your own soil. So we are sure that you really see, aha, it is really growing. After this exposition, we will go outside, and I want to show you in practice how we can grow now this plant. But before we do that, I want to encourage you to take care for your own immunity, for your power to resist diseases. And when I was, or wherever I go, all over tropical countries, people destroy the immunity. How do they do that? With mercury. Because they buy ointments that contain mercury and other chemicals to bleach their skin. And they don't understand that if I bleach my skin with mercury, I destroy my immunity and I get far quicker AIDS and malaria and many other diseases. And you see here a person that is equally brown or black, and now she takes those mercury soaps and ointments, and she gets spots all over the face, and because to fight against these spots she uses more mercury and more cortisone and more hydroquinone and gets sick. And therefore we have put this into the starter kit to tell you the best medicine for malaria is your own immunity. And you should never destroy your own immunity, because otherwise you get a lot of malaria. So please take care for your body. Otherwise even Artemisia cannot help you if your immunity is destroyed with these chemicals, ointments and soaps that destroy your immunity. I also want to give you, to those of you who are tourists or who are refugees, are going back to Africa, or who is helping people, missionaries, development workers, you protect yourself against malaria. Maybe with Malarone here, or with Coartem here. Okay, no problem. But what do you do for the population? You go there, even if you are a tourist, you should not destroy the population, you should help the population. Because the more you take this medicine, the less it is effective for the native population. Therefore, do something yourself for the population that you are meeting. Okay, so what can you do? As I told you already, out of this plant there is a medicine called artesunate. It does not contain anything else than an extract of this plant, and it is sometimes used alone, sometimes with other antibiotics like here. Also in this coartem there is artesunate coming out of this plant as an ingredient. So please tell the people. Of course you can go to the shop and you buy this tea made out of this plant from China. That is sold all over the tropics, anti-malarial tea produced in China. But as I say, this plant is growing all over where there are tropical temperature, or even in Europe it is growing. So I encourage you, do not spend any money, but just produce this plant yourself. You can make so many different methods to grow many plants out of this starter pack. And so we encourage to you, as we say, help yourself, then God will help you. Help yourself, then God will help you. So that is our aim, and with this possibility now you can save, as I said, 2,700 people every day. That is what is my desire. Thank you. Okay, so as I have told you, we want to make practical work. We want to show how everybody can do something to produce this medicine. And as I have told you, in your starter kit there are these jiffy pots, and if you as a visitor you go to Africa or to Asia, then you are in the airplane and you get your Coca-Cola or whatever in these boxes, and you say to the stewardess not to throw them away, but to give you as many as possible so that you can use them, because when you arrive in the tropical area, now you take one and you add this jiffy pot with a hole on top. Do you see that? This should be on top. So, and now you add water and you wait 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes you see it has become a real pot like we see here. So you throw away the water that is too much. Now you have your pot, pot to sow those seeds. What you make now is to make it a little bit flat and wide, and now you will sow some seeds on it. Okay, I can put it outside so it is easier to see. Now you take your Artemisia seeds and you take only about 20 of these tiny small. So now that is about 20. Do you see there, or shall I take a white paper? Okay, so, and this I put now, you see that, on top. Now you understand that a farmer who has usually his maize and his beans now says, I have never worked with so small seeds. So now this you put now in, it needs a lot of light, because Artemisia will grow only if there is sunshine on top. So once a day in the morning you put a little bit water on the side only, and then you put the whole day on the full sunshine. About 10 days you see it has changed. Now you see something coming up, and these are the Artemisia seeds, Artemisia seedlings. So it is important that they have light. If there is no light, they will not even germinate. Now, if you have succeeded up to here, you can forget now these jiffy pots, and now you make your own pots. And I will give you an example. You take whatever you have as a bowl, and I think you have something like the interior part of a toilet paper or of a kitchen. So, okay, and now you take the best soil that you find, in your area, and you fill it with that soil. Up to the top, that's important. I think one is enough, is it okay? Good. About 20 seeds, you see. And now you put these 20 seeds on top of your seed bed. Fine. Another possibility, if you have something like that, where you buy eggs inside, now you cut it here. You cut it here, and now you fill it with soil, with the best soil what you have, like I have done here. And now you put your seeds on top. So it's also very easy. Now what you should not do, never, is to take a plastic cup or whatever, fill it with soil and so on top. That's not possible, because the roots need air. The roots need air, and here there is no air for the roots. So if you fill this and now you sow Artemisia on top, it will not grow. It will germinate, but it will immediately stop growing, because there is no air inside of the pot. So do not use this method. It is useless. So when you have done all this, so once a day in the morning you put water here, and so your pots will suck water. Never put water on top, because one drop of water is 100 times more heavy than your small plant. So you will destroy your plant with one drop of water. No, always put water on the side, so that water comes from below to the upside, until your plants are big enough. Now, of course, if you want to add some water, no problem. As soon they are as big as this, now you can add water here on top or on below. It's up to you. It is important that this plant get enough water. So the Artemisia needs a lot of water and a lot of sunshine and a lot of fertilizer, dung or nitrogen. Fine. After about 2 weeks, your plants look like this, and you can still wait 1 week or more, but then you must to remove the single plants and put it every plant again in a separate pot. So I want to show you. You take this pot here, and now you open here. What is important, that it is very humid. So it must be very humid. Okay. Now, out of this collection of plants, you make for every plant a single pot. For example, with the help of a knife. Okay, I make a hole to see that. Here I have one plant. Okay, maybe better here. Okay, and now I put it inside. So, fine, finished. You put it again on sunshine and enough water, and then it looks like this. After, looks like this, and of course you need a lot of plants because all your neighbors want to have those plants. And I know even in Nairobi they are selling that for $10, only one plant. And so therefore you make a collection, for example, like this. Now it is easy, you put water below, here inside, put it inside, and then all these plants can grow. So the first thing what you do is to make a hole. As I said, you reserve 1 square meter, and if your soil is very infertile, you have to make the hole 70 to 70 centimeters. Now here the soil is pretty fertile, so I make only a small hole. The more loose your soil, the higher the plant afterwards. So when you dig your hole, then you fill it with garden waste, as you see here, and you fill it with kitchen waste, as you see here, from the kitchen leftovers, and then you add again the best soil what you find, and then in the middle of all this now you plant your Artemisia, as you see here. So, and now you add be sure that there is enough water. And if you live in a very hot climate, then you will not forget to put mulch all around, so that the sunshine will not destroy your plant. Is that okay?
Yes.
So, fine. Okay. So it is most preferable to not to make a monoculture, but to make a mixed culture. And here I have showed you the mixed culture, Artemisia plus cucumbers plus potatoes. And this helps us now to have less diseases, because Artemisia helps potatoes to have less diseases. So some people even plant maize and Artemisia, 1 row maize, 1 row Artemisia, 1 row maize, 1 row Artemisia, and so on, to protect the maize against insects, because it smells very strongly. And it helps us also now to have a better harvest, because we will not only have our Artemisia, but also some potatoes afterwards on the side of the Artemisia. So I prefer that you have no naked soil between the Artemisia, but always, like in the tropical forest, there's always growing something in between, so the soil keeps fertile. Hello to everybody, nice to see you again, because since we have sown our Artemisia, it's now 6 months ago, and now the winter comes closer in Germany, so we should save our harvest, and in Africa we would say the dry season threatens to come, so we should harvest our Artemisia. Before we do that, I want to show you another method of growing Artemisia, what is very impressive to me. If I have a very small quantity of land, maybe only 1 square meter. I can take a sack and I can make small cuts in the sack and then plant different Artemisia plants, maybe 10 in the same bag. So the problem is, if I put water in there, the water will stop here. So these small plants will all die. What can I do to avoid this? I take a can and I remove the, on top and bottom, I remove the cover and I fill it with stones. And I start below until to the top, always by shifting this, this can and always filling it with stones. So in the end I have one pillar of stones here. And so when I put water inside this pillar, the water will arrive all over the bag. So this is very heavy, of course. We may have 100 kilograms, so you see here. And instead of this big bag, I can also use a barrel and make cuts here all over around the barrel and plant Artemisia in these openings. Okay, maybe I have even less space, only the space of 1 sheet of paper. What can I do? I take an iron stick and I turn these pots over the iron stick. Now you see here we have a whole medicinal garden made only on a very low, very small space, and that's another idea how to make a medicinal garden in a very small area. After that, now we want to see our plants, how they have developed, and so we will go into the garden. As you see, the plants here in my garden have grown pretty nice, already higher than me. And why did they grow well? Firstly, we gave enough water and enough sunshine, but most important, we gave a very loose soil. And before planting Artemisia, I have put all the garden waste and branches inside, so I'm sure there is a high oxygen level inside of the soil. So if I dig now in my garden, you see now how it is a loose soil, and if that is really loose, I should also be able to find some as you see here, we have even found our potatoes. And if I look inside, then I find also some worms, and only if these worms are there, then I'm sure that my garden is fine. So wherever I grow Artemisia, I should have a soil where the worms feel happy. What is important for Artemisia Annua anamed, that you should not use the seeds. You should not wait until the plant starts to flower and get seeds, because these seeds will mix with other seeds from wild forms, and then the daughters and sons of your plant will have a lower quality. But there are enough other possibilities, and I just want to show one possibility that is called stone method. What does that mean? I remove a little bit of soil here. Now I take a branch here and I bend it down and I put a stone on it, and I put now water on it, so the small plant will understand that it is far easier to get water directly where it is than from the mother plant. And after 1 month I can cut it and I have a new plant. And this plant I harvest, and this plant will grow again 6 months before I can harvest it again. And there are still other methods by making cuttings, and that we will show afterwards. So the next method is to make cuttings, and then with only one plant I can have 100 plants. So what do? I take a bowl and I put a bag over it, like we have the bags for onions on the market, and I fix it, and I fill now this construction with totally full with water, so that it practically overflows. Fine. And now I take always the tops of the branches. I remove the leaves on the lower part, and that is what I put now into my special construction, as I have shown you here. Okay. And so after 2 or 3 weeks I see, aha, roots are forming. I put this bowl now on a light place, not in the darkness but not in the full sunshine, and so the cuttings feel fine, and you will see you have now hundreds of new plants after 2 or 3 weeks. There are different methods to harvest now our Artemisia. One method is to cut the whole plant, to transport it inside of the house, and there are the people now who remove the leaves. That's possible, but as you see here, the leaves become tired very quickly, and now the older they are, the more it is difficult now to remove the leaves. Another method that is not so good, we see here on this plant had some stress, but maybe I have a whole field with many of these plants, and now the dry season starts, or the winter time starts in Europe, and now in a few time, in one day I have to harvest maybe 100 plants. No, that's not so good. As you see here, if I leave all my field like that, you see a lot of brownish leaves now who are inside, and I lose a lot of harvest because these leaves now are used for nothing. Is that clear? So I can throw away. So what I prefer most is this third method, that is, I take my Artemisia every month. So in the month 4, 5, 6 and 7 of the vegetation, and now I remove always only some of the interior leaves. I take it on the right hand side, and now here on the left I go down. You see that? Again here on the right hand side, here on the left hand side I go down. So, and now here, every month now, this plant will continue to grow, and I will not lose those leaves inside. Now you have your Artemisia that you have harvested, and you should not leave it in a plastic bag for more than 1 hour, because it becomes compost very easily. But better is you have a basket like this one where the air can enter, and then you transport it to the place where you now will cut it. And you could cut it like you cut your spinach, and like I do here, as you see. And this is why we do that, is to be sure it will dry quicker. Otherwise it takes a long time of drying. So when you have cut this, you put it now on a metal plate or on paper or cloth, and you put that in full sunshine. In Germany, in Sudan or in very hot countries, you may put it in the shade for us it is important that it is dry after 3 days, not after 1 week, not after 1 day, but that it is dry after 3 days. Then we are sure you got a high quality. Thank you. So after 3 days, as I told you, my leaves are hopefully dry enough, and now I sieve them. I take a sieve out of metal or wood, and now I sieve the material to separate the stems from the leaves. So what happens, I get here the leaves, as you see, and here are the remainders of the stems. Now this is the medicine for men, for people, and this is the medicine for animals, for example for coccidiosis in rabbits or in chickens, or for borreliosis in horses. Okay, now what do I do with this material? I put it into a plastic bag, but not alone. I add also an hygrometer. This hygrometer shows me the humidity around the leaves. And this hygrometer, calibrated hygrometer, I leave there inside during one night, and the next morning it should show me not more than 40% of relative humidity. That means now I can keep my tea leaves for 3 years. If that is not the case, I have to try again until now I get the right value or in my hygrometer. Then I can keep it for 3 years. Fine, let me say you want to fight malaria with that tea. What do? You take 4 teaspoons of these broken leaves, you add it into a container and then you add 1 liter of boiling water over these leaves, and you wait for 15 minutes or even 2 hours, no problem. After 2 hours you filter, and now you have your Artemisia tea, and this you take in 4 doses during the day, and this for 7 days. If you don't like this tea because it is pretty bitter, you have another choice. You make a powder out of your broken leaves, and there you take only 2 teaspoonfuls, and you mix it now with tomato juice or with peanut butter or with cream or whatever you like, what contains oil, so it is not really bitter. And this is the same dose now what you take, 5 grams a day, divided in 4 doses during 7 days. So you have the choice. Now here we have already now plant that is already 3 to 4 months old, and so I want to finish with a small story. If you are missionary or development worker in Africa and it's starting to become Christmas time and you are longing for a fir tree, then you can buy one out of plastic, or you can take your Artemisia plant. Why that? Because nowhere in the Bible it is written that on Christmas you must sit around a fir tree. So it can be also Artemisia, why not? And as you see, it will not even burn if you put a candle on it. Okay, that was my small story to finish this small film. Thank you very much.